Hey, what's up, people? Fizz out here, and continuing my series, File 13, in which I discuss cult, sleaze, exploitation movies so bad they're good. Today I want to talk to you guys about The Hills Have Eyes, Part 2. Not the sequel to the remake, the sequel to the original Hills Have Eyes, written and directed by Wes Craven. And a little backstory about The Hills Have Eyes, Part 2. The movie was born out of sheer desperation. Wes Craven needed a payday. Period. Some money people came to him and said, hey, we'll pay you some money if you'll make a sequel to The Hills Have Eyes. Wes Craven said, sure, why not? The film was only about 2/3 of the way completed before financing fell out of the movie. Fast forward, A Nightmare on Elm Street is released. It's a huge success, a runaway hit. The producers of Hills Have Eyes Part 2 go, ha, let's get what we have of The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, and let's pad it out with a bunch of flashbacks from the original Hills Have Eyes, including a flashback from the dog's perspective. And if you've seen The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, the one thing that probably sticks out to you about the film is that there is a flashback from the dog's perspective. Probably a first and only in the history of cinema. The other thing that probably sticks out to you about The Hills Have Eyes Part 2 is what an ungodly catastrophe it is. And I don't blame Wes Craven at all. I love Wes Craven. May he rest in peace. He was a horror master. This was clearly a movie that he had absolutely no enthusiasm invested in it. This was a paycheck gig. He was there to shoot the thing and get it done as quickly as possible. Put that together with the fact that the movie's pretty much just a cobbled together, roughly edited mess of an incomplete movie that uses flashbacks from the original film to simply pad out the runtime so that they could release it and make a buck. Now, where to begin with the plot? Because this is one of the most idiotic plots in movie history. Bobby, the survivor of the first film, he is now involved in some sort of professional dirt biking kind of outfit. Which, if you're as petrified of the desert, why would you want to be associated with a sport that takes place predominantly in the desert? I have no idea. So Bobby's in the movie for about literally 5 minutes because his team of dirt bikers, they're going to go to this gig in the desert, and he's like, nah, I'm cool. You guys go on, have a good time. I'm out of here. No desert for me. So Ruby, a very much domesticated Ruby, is back in this film, and Beast, of course, because we got to have that flashback from Beast to the original movie. They set off across the desert to get to this meet. They're running behind. They've got to be there by 4 o'clock to pay their entry fee and register, or they're screwed. They're about a half an hour ahead of schedule before they realize. Keep in mind, when I say they, I'm talking about a busload of about 8, 10, 12 people. They forgot all about daylight savings time. All of them. Every person on this bus forgot about daylight savings time. So if they had only observed daylight savings time, none of this would have happened. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the very Texas Chainsaw Massacre-ish opening crawl, with a very serious man's voice saying, "These events are based on fact." And at the end of it, he goes, "Beyond the roads, beyond the towns, the hills still have eyes." So already, you've not even seen an image from the film, and I'm already laughing. Anyway, so if they'd only been observant of daylight savings time, none of this would have happened. So they go, okay, instead of us being 30 minutes ahead of time, we're 30 minutes behind. We've got to cut through the desert. We've got to take this little back road to shave off some time so that we can still get there and register. Now, Ruby, of course, Ruby from the first movie, who was one of the cannibals in the first movie. Again, now she's domesticated, which probably isn't the best word. I'm sure she's full on vegan at this point. Instead of her going, no, you know what? Screw it. We blew it. Let's turn this bus around. Let's go back. Beers are on me. Ruby goes, let's just take that. Let's take that back road. Let's take that shortcut. But Ruby, won't that take us right to the place where the original film happened? Yeah, but that was a long time ago. Don't worry about it. Forget it. No. Pluto is back, again played by Michael Berryman, even though he ostensibly had his throat ripped out in the first movie by the dog. And we've got a new big bad guy named the Reaper, who looks like a cross between the Hound from Game of Thrones and a Mad Max cosplayer. They wreak havoc. They kill a bunch of people. They, I guess, eat a few of them. I don't know. The movie turns into an unimaginable mess. An unimaginable mess. And again, I'm not laying all the blame at the feet of Wes Craven, even though clearly, as I said, this was a paycheck gig for him and nothing more. Again, only 2/3 of this movie was finished. So they were Frankensteining this movie together, and Frankensteining it together very shoddily to pad out that runtime to the point where, I mean, they're stretching it and stretching it and stretching it, and it's really bad. It's really bad. I wouldn't even say it's so bad it's good, because that's kind of an insult to movies that are so bad they're good. This movie is just really bad. Now, since I did The Hills Have Eyes review, my review of the original Hills Have Eyes, for my review request, I had a couple of people request that I do a review of this film, and that's kind of why I'm doing it for File 13. Even though I wouldn't say it's so bad it's good, although it does have its amusing moments. Again, the dog flashback. Wow. We also have a blind character in the film, and she is the most inconsistently blind person I've ever seen. At one point in the film, she can smell one of the bad guys from like a mile away. At another point in the film, she can hear her boyfriend scream from some unknown distance way deep in the desert. But then she can't smell a woman smoking a cigarette sitting directly beside her. Or she doesn't notice the smell or the feel of blood. There's a point where she falls into a huge puddle of blood, and she goes, wow, somebody spilled a lot of water here. You couldn't smell that it was blood? You couldn't, like, the texture or water? A lot of water. Somebody just spilled a big pitcher of water here. It smells kind of coppery. I guess there were some pennies inside of this pitcher of water that was spilled. I don't know. The movie is an absolute mess. It's amusing at times, but it is an absolute mess. Wes Craven, of course, disowned the film. I would say it's a movie that you should sit down and at least experience if you haven't seen The Hills Have Eyes Part 2. Because it's all over the place. It's on YouTube if you want to watch it for free. If you've got Amazon Prime, you can watch it on Amazon for free. I'm sure you can pick it up on DVD or even Blu-ray. I think it did get a Blu-ray release not long ago. I'm sure you can pick it up on either format. Super cheap. But it is, as I said, just a complete catastrophe. And aside from it being amusing here and there, it's just an out-and-out mess. It is a mess of a movie. If you've seen The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, please let me know what you think of it in the comments section below. As always, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace.